Buck, do you know the all-time Gold Glove at first base?
Dan? No, I don't.
All right.
How about Keith Hernandez? Is he in there somewhere?
Yes, he is.
Keith Hernandez? Okay. In second base, Joe Morgan, I don't think had enough Gold Gloves.
Joe Morgan was 5th with 5 Gold Gloves.
All right. He's Buck Showalter, the Orioles manager. Buck, what about second base?
What's the answer, Dan?
Keith Hernandez.
I was right?
Yeah.
Jeez, I'm on a roll.
You're on a roll.
Second base.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Second base, most Gold Gloves all time. Robbie Alomar.
Yeah.
Bingo.
Robbie.
Bingo. Okay. So Clemente is, and this has been around since mid-50s?
57.
57. Right.
And Dan already said Roberto Clemente.
Okay. Who are the other two outfielders, Buck?
Jeez, I'd have to think that one through. Were they giving it back with Mays?
Willie Mays, yeah.
When did they first start giving it out?
57. So Willie Mays.
Willie Mays and Roberto Clemente are tied at 1 with 12 Gold Gloves.
Ichiro's got 9, doesn't he?
There's 5 tied with 80, so there's 2 with 10.
Oh, okay.
Dan, I got to tell you a story. Brooks Robinson came in to speak to our club the first day.
Yeah.
And Jonesy gives everybody a little I don't know, sass or whatever. And Jonesy's got, 2 or 3. And we had a little short film before Brooks spoke. Some guys may not know who he is, but our guys didn't. And in the process, there was this picture of him. You may have seen it sitting down at third base and 15 Gold Gloves around him. Jonesy almost spit his coffee out. It was funny. He goes, he apologized on the spot to Brooks.
So he had no idea. These guys had no idea who Brooks was?
No, they know who he is. I'm just saying some of the young guys, especially, we just called up a couple of kids that haven't been in the organization, really young guys that started the year in another organization. It also kind of breaks the ice for Brooks before he speaks, because that's the first time he'd been in our locker room, believe it or not. It shocked me when he told me that.
That's great. Always great to have Brooksy there.
He's feeling better, too. His health, I'm really excited about his health.
How surprised are you, given what happened during the regular season, that here you are, chance to go to the World Series?
It's one of those things, Dan, you really don't get the full until you get away from it. We're so close to it. When I see a friend that's a scout or somebody from another organization that's watching our game or scouting, I just go, hey, what do you see? And he goes, what do you mean? You're right here. I said, no, I'm too close to it. I said, what do you see walking in here and watching 3 games? What do you see that maybe I don't see? So, Dan, this time of year you just roll with it. You don't try to overanalyze it. You don't try to, you don't listen to every guy that's critiquing I don't watch anything or listen to anything or read anything. It's just there's just enough thoughts going around that you just got to stay on one thing. So I don't really think about what I think.
Have you overmanaged before?
Pardon?
Have you overmanaged before?
Oh, of course we all have. Are you kidding me? Because if you care, it's like, why does somebody get emotional and do something they wish they hadn't done? Because they care, Sometimes the best managing you do is the managing you don't do. Sometimes the best managing you do is what you do. It's the whole thing is you got good players and you're trying to put them in a position that fits their skill set, so to speak, and then get out of the way and let it happen. You'll make some decisions during a game. I'm not name dropping. Coach Parcells called me yesterday and we were talking, and I actually returned his call, and he's talking about sometimes you make a decision and it's the right one and the result's terrible, or you make one that you're a little sideways about, but you end up, because we live in such a result-oriented sports society that everything's judged by whether or not it worked, which really, if you look at it, Dan, it's kind of crazy.
Wait, so Parcells, when did you establish a relationship? When you were at the Yankees?
Yeah, he's a big baseball fan. I would love listening to him talk about positive and negative kicking yards, just totally fascinating to me, watching how you really find out who's going to win a game. First time I ever saw a guy play 2 guys deep was Bear Bryant with the punt, where you never let it hit the ground. Back then at Legion Field, the AstroTurf was concrete. If you let it hit the ground, it'd roll for 30 yards. So he didn't care if anybody returned the punt, just don't let it hit the ground the whole year. And Parcells loved that. And in fact, they beat 17-0 in the Super Bowl. He said the MVP was the guy who was catching the punts because it was so windy and so cold.
Phil McConkey.
He never let a punt hit the ground, and he was the MVP of the game for Bill.
Would you rather talk football than you would baseball?
Right now, yeah, because baseball's going to get me in trouble. I wish I was that calculating, but I do enjoy it this time of year. The clubhouse is alive with college football and a little pro football.
All right, but you got to be proud of your alma mater, Mississippi State. Are you any bets in the clubhouse there with your players?
Oh no, tokens. We don't do money. That's not allowed in clubhouses.
Of course, it's not.
It's tokens only. Kind of like at the skeet ball machine. Wait.
But Buck, what's the biggest token? How much?
I'm not going there, Dan. I've done a great job of staying out of trouble for the last 2 weeks with MLB. Try not to talk about start times or umpiring crews.
You haven't gotten suspended or fined in a while, right?
No, not anybody knows about. Just leave it at that. What do you?
Is it tough? Okay, go ahead.
No, the leaves turning, a little Christmas in the air. I mean, it's John Hart used to talk about it. That's fall baseball. That's October baseball. You break back out the long johns. You bring the sleeves out of the April bag, and the greatest time of the year, 2 times for me, are spring training and the workout days before the playoffs start. Life's good. You know what I mean?
Can you see the playoffs, like how it affects certain players in either a good or bad way as a manager, and then can you do something to sort of prevent it or ease sort of that tension there?
You can try, but so much of that stuff, Dan, comes from their teammates. We were actually really lucky. We went through the Jeter retirement there in New York, and we had 50,000 people every game, and every pitch was like, the World Series, and our guys got to play in a real good environment, and it was great, evaluator a little bit watching some of the guys play in that.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's really interesting.
And playing in the American League East, you're playing in Fenway Park, you're playing at Yankee Stadium, so it's it really prepares you for it.
He's Buck Showalter, the Orioles manager, joining us, Dan Patrick Show. You didn't touch on your Mississippi State team too long.
Well, I don't want to jinx them. Auburn's really good. I think it's a pick 'em, and it's going to be fun to watch. I've had my heart broke so much by them. I tell you, the quarterback, I don't know if everybody knows about him yet. Dak Prescott's one of the best in the country. Yeah. And if they can keep him healthy on the field, they'll be able to play with anybody. But we'll see. Auburn's good.
Who's closer to a title, the Orioles or Mississippi State?
Oh, I can't win there, Dave. Where do you come up with this?
I don't know.
That's really good. That just come in your head? I can't win there.
I went crazy when I worked at ESPN. This is what it did to me.
Yeah. Hey, Dan, does it seem to you like everybody talks about the American League East being weak because we won it?
Yes.
Huh? And then I looked at it the other day. It's still got the best winning percentage of any division in baseball, all 6 of them. Think about it.
No, you're right. That's like, oh, my God, the Orioles won.
Orioles and Red Sox had to be down in Tampa Bay and Toronto because the Orioles won. I think Nikki was kidding about that the other day.
But you're not.
I went in and looked it up, and heck, we had the best record of any division.
But you're not an underdog against the Royals. As much as you're going to try, they're the underdogs here.
I think you're wrong there, Dan. You remember what it was like? Of course, if you do the average age of the teams, it's not like they're that much, if any, younger than us.
But we don't know them. That's why I think.
Whose fault is that, Dan?
The Royals.
I don't know about that, Dan. Because when someone says that someone wasn't supposed to be here this year, it makes people that do that for a living not look very good.
Well, they're my Royals.
Exactly.
So I'm right there with the Kansas City Royals. And that's the kind of team that I feel like it's hard to prepare for because you don't say, I got to lock down that one guy. Right? It feels
It's never
like
one guy in the playoffs, Dan. It's never one. There's so many things that have happened. They defend so well. They're very athletic. They can make leads matter. And I think what's undervalued is how good their starting pitching is.
Well, they got a good bullpen.
You got a guy throwing 120 second game.
They have a good bullpen as well. Oh, by the way, did you get Jeter something?
Not yet. We were all glad he retired, quite frankly.
But what are you going to get him?
I got something in mind. I'm not gonna. Maybe I got a little token from his first game.
Really?
Don't tell him.
I won't. So you have?
Yeah, I'm gonna give it up because it could have paid for my grandchild's education. But I'm gonna give it up.
Do you have? Is it the lineup card from his first game?
Dan, I'm not telling. Then you're gonna break the surprise.
But am I close?
You're close.
All right. Give me a Jeter story I've never heard.
Oh no. not on public radio. No, there's nothing like that on him. It's kind of boring. There'll be a lot less eye rolls when they don't have Derek to answer those questions like they think they're going to get some great quote from him after something's happened.
Well, there had to be a moment, though, where you went, wow, that's not like Derek.
Well, I did tell you that I don't know, I may have mentioned that when they first came up, I told, we kept them around for the playoffs. I think Jorge was there. I think Andy was active. I can't remember, but I said, boys, let me tell you, if I hear y'all running the streets at night and not taking advantage of this situation, you'll be in a instructional league so fast it'll make your head spin. Derek told me later on that they never left the hotel room for about 2 weeks. They were scared to death to mess it up.
Did you have bed check?
No. Billy Martin told me a long time ago, don't put any rules in that you're not willing to enforce. And I ain't running around chasing these guys at 2 o'clock in the morning, Dan. Not my job, man.
Billy Martin needed to have a bed check.
Well, that's why Billy could check the beds. He was up.
Yeah, very late. Well, good luck with Mississippi State against Auburn. And
how about Ole Miss and A&M? What do you got there?
I think A&M's going to come back.
Yeah.
They got roughed up, and I wouldn't be surprised if Auburn wins that game against Mississippi State.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. Ole Miss is probably the most athletically talented defensive team in the SEC.
Yep.
I'm serious. A lot of people don't quite get that. They're really good.
Going to have to score some points, though, against A&M, at A&M.
I agree. It'll be fun to watch.
Hey, let's talk baseball maybe next time you're on, okay?
We can do that, too. Well, I hope we have something to talk about, Dan.
All right. Thank you, Buck.
All right, man. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Buck Showalter.